right, guys, let's get fucking wild. This is Wild Phil with Wild Philosophy. Let's do this. Today, I'm going to tell you about the most perfectly timed prank I've ever pulled. Most well-timed prank. Comedic timing. The kind of shit that does not happen, okay? It was absolute luck. It was amazing, okay? Because you know what? Listen, everybody's going to have these clickbait. The funniest prank ever. Bro, every prank is funny. They're all going to be funny, all right? So before I have a video, the most fucked up prank, which involves marijuana, Satanism, and a deer carcass. If you're into fucked up pranks, check it out. It's the most fucked up prank. But this prank is the most well-timed, and it all has to do with my family and the website prankdial.com. I'm going to give you a little bit of context before I tell you exactly what happened to emphasize how well-timing this is. First, I'm going to tell you about the website. Then I'm going to tell you about each character in this story, which is my aunt, my mom, my aunt's daughter, and me. Let's start off with the website, prankdial.com. Bro, I'm going to fuck up so many people's lives by letting you know about this website because this site has existed I've been on it since the beginning. I'm such a fucking troll, Joey Diaz style, that I have a terabyte of every person that I've called in the past 15 years. Each person on my contacts I've called like 5 times. It's hilarious. What it is there's pre-automated recordings that have pauses within them. So it kind of sounds like a robot, but it's a little bit more authentic because it's a real person just pausing. So it's a legit prank call. You do it on this website, prankdial.com. There's also Prank Owl. And the other thing is you can customize them so they can say a person's name, right? And then the other thing, here's the changes that happen over the years. Okay, let me tell you how much of I got to brag about my trollness. In the beginning, they used to have, back in the day, what number one was the best was you could prank call at any fucking time when they first came out, when there was zero regulation online. Now you can't use it past 9 p.m. wherever you are. It's kind of a bitch. The other thing that I loved, okay, you know those people in your life that are unhinged fucking assholes, right? There's a few, they're rare. But they're there. You know, you ever worked with like a boss that would just to your face tell you you're an ugly piece of shit, or just have like a relative that tells you you're a fat fucking cunt, like the worst things, right? These are unhinged people. What I used to do is I would prank call these people. Like, for example, I got my car towed and something happened where I showed up, like the place closes at 5. I showed up at 4 to pick up my car, and they're like, yeah, the driver's on lunch. I'm like, he's on lunch? At 4, he's on lunch? He goes, yeah, you can't get... So they wanted to charge me another day, and they were complete assholes to me. So what I would do is I would prank call these unhinged people. And what I mean unhinged, I mean like they're going to go off on anybody. So here's what I used to do that you can't do anymore. It's illegal. I would prank call them with this website, and you get to pick the caller ID. So every time, say this towing place, I would prank call them. Then I would look up what is the closest police station to their tow place, and I would set the caller ID as the police station. So they'd be, they'd say every word possible, every homophobic slur, fucking N-bombs, you know. I'd prank call them. They'd get pissed, and then they call the cops and go, "You fucking end this, you faggot!" You like. They would go off on the cops and get arrested. So karma flows, bro. It's great when you can have the karma gun in your hand. So, but that doesn't happen anymore. So that's what this website is. It's got an index of different pranks. There's one where it's a Chinese chef, and you know, hey bro, you didn't pay for your chop suey. Is this? And then you can customize it. Is this Fred? Is this Jason? So that's what you can do. You can customize it. So let's get into the story. So that's what prankdial.com is. So let's talk about these characters. And I have to give you context in order for you to understand this timing. My aunt, her daughter, my mom, and me. So at the time, there's me. I'm a fucking troll. I'm at home. Well, we'll talk about the characters first. So there's my aunt. My aunt I don't know how to explain her other than she's a complete fucking dingbat. She's a dingbat. I know it sounds misogynistic. No, there's smart, beautiful, creative, funny women out there, but this broad is she just did everything her entire life to try and be popular. Everything. I don't know if it's some immigrant complex, but it was like everything she did, she didn't have an identity. It was like, I remember it was like when you're, 21 Pilots won the fucking Grammy. She's like, you ever hear 21 Pilots? They're absolutely awesome. Oh my, they're so good. I'm like, no, I literally never heard them because I don't listen to shit music. And she had all their records because they won the Grammy. And then next year, you ever listen to Billie Eilish? She's so good. Oh my God, she's so good. Billie, you don't know who Billie Eilish is? I'm like, bitch, you're fucking 50 and you're listening to Billie Eilish, So she did. So, side note though, it was kind of a shitty fake personality trait that she had, but luckily it benefited me in the music world because the way I got into music was I would steal her CDs because she didn't care for them. This is how fake she was. In the 90s, before there was internet, she would buy like Rolling Stones records and they had like the top Billboard charts, and she would just buy the top 10 records on there, every single one. And I have to tell you is that this is the 90s. So people are a lot more ignorant. It was like, if you listen to metal, you listen to nothing but metal. And if there was anything in there but metal, then they're like, you're gay. Or that's what they would say. That's what we said it in the 90s, Or if you were into whatever, if you were into jazz and you listen to anything but jazz, they're like, what's wrong? You're weird. We don't want you in our group. So it was weird when I would go to her house and it's like, oh, I have the new Seal record, with Crazy and Kiss from a Rose, and then the new Cure record, and then Guns N' Roses, and then AC/DC, and then Metallica, and then Prodigy. It's like, who the fuck listens? I was like, what is she fucking listening to? Because she just bought whatever's popular. So I would go there and I'd steal whatever I liked because yeah, that's how it was. So she's the fakest person. That's one character. The other thing is there's my cousin, which is her daughter. Not much to say about it. I don't really have to describe her for the story. She's just, she was in college at the time. And I think she's really close. Here's the other thing too, is like my aunt went through a divorce probably because of her fucking attitude. And yeah, you know what I'm saying? So at the time, her and the husband, my uncle, they were like constantly fighting for favoritism with his daughter. So they would it was so annoying because it was like you couldn't do a nice thing because they like the other would consider it talking shit. Like I couldn't if I was around them, my aunt, my uncle, and my cousin, and I told my aunt, hey, that new shirt looks good on you, the uncle would take it as offense because they're fighting for favoritism. It was so annoying. It's fucking stupid drama, foreign family drama. So that's a real. She was just my cousin was just getting her ass kissed by my aunt, and my aunt wanted to let her know that she's for her there all the time. Now here's my mom. I told you, my mom was a fucking as much of a horrible, evil, fucked up fucking cunt that she was. She was very individual. She's an individual. She's an Aquarius. You know what I mean? They fly solo. So she was always herself. And so she never let any of this popular bullshit that my aunt would put on or popular, trending things, pop culture. She would never let it stray her because she was always herself. So here's where the story begins with these characters, right? I'm sitting in my room, basically panicking because I dropped out of college early. The stock market crashed. So I'm basically just going on Indeed and Glassdoor, and I don't even know if ZipRecruiter was around then, but I'm applying for jobs all day. So I'm kind of half applying, half fucking around online. I find this prank dial website, right? This shows you what happens when, I guess the word didn't exist back then, but this shows you when you try to be woke, but you're not educated enough. Because what happened is, this was like 2007, 5 years after 9/11. So there was a lot of ignorant resentment towards Muslims, towards anybody who's Middle Eastern. And if you're a fucking uneducated person like my aunt, anybody who's Indian even, they're like, oh yeah, they're terrorists too. So what's funny is that my mom, she just kind of, she's like, listen, it says in the Quran that they want to destroy anybody who isn't Muslim. They're fucking dangerous. She's kind of like, she's got her own opinion. My aunt, on the other hand, it's 2007, so suddenly it is popular to accept all people. So here's what happens. I'm upstairs fucking around this prank dial website. At the same time, my aunt is ranting to my mom about how much she needs to accept Muslims and that they're not terrorists and that she's a fucking ignorant oaf. Whatever. They're arguing. So I'm on this website and I'm like, it'd be fucking hilarious if I called my aunt right now and I put my cousin as the caller ID. Because that's what you got to do on that website. You have to, when you prank call, you need to put on the caller ID somebody that they would pick up. And I'm like, oh man, she's in this fucking favoritism war. She's going to pick up. So they're arguing about this terrorist shit. And I don't know if any of you remember, there was this is the first time I went on prankdial.com. So I was like, oh, you know what? I'm just going to use the most popular one. And the most popular one, which some of you might have heard this, he's like, hello, my name is Karpal. Yes, I wonder why your daughter come to my house today and she kicked my dog. And now my dog needs to go to the hospital. He is injured. What is wrong with you? Now I have your daughter's phone. Why did she do that? Right? And by luck, I was like, holy shit, he's talking about a daughter. So this clip is perfect for the situation. Bro. I call my aunt while she's arguing about terrorists. And she hears, I still have the recording. She hears that shit. And she loses it. She's like, oh my God, did you call? Where is my daughter? Why do you have her phone? You terrorist. Like after an hour of arguing with my mom, that listen, I'm just reiterating what's happening. This isn't my views, but after arguing about that Muslims are great people and they're not terrorists and all this shit, and they're all beautiful and now she's going, you are a terrorist, like it was like slapping her in the face with her own like blind wokeness. And she thought she was like, she had to call the cops. She thought her daughter got kidnapped by an Indian terrorist, because there's a little bit of difference between Indian and Middle Eastern accents. I don't know but it was absolutely hilarious. And I don't think she ever found out. I hope she fucking watches this video and sees it, because she's a dummy. But yeah, so that's my most well-timed prank. And yeah, you know what, maybe, yeah, why not? I'm going to share the clip at the end of this video just to show you guys it's absolutely hilarious. Hope you enjoyed this story. Thank you for listening. Peace.
Hello?
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 Hi.
Hello?
I was just calling because I live down the street from you and your daughter come to my house today and she kicked my dog. This is
What?
Karpal. Karpal. Your daughter
Sorry,
come
what?
to my house today and she come on my property and then she kicked my dog. And now my dog needs operation.
Okay, where is my daughter?
And why did she do it?
I don't know.
You
Who are
don't act stupid.
I'm sorry.
You don't
who
ask
are
dumb
you?
question.
Listen.
No, you
Give me
just
my
shut up.
daughter.
You try to confuse. I'm going to call the police. And then you're going to go to
Fine.
jail.
Call police.
Shut up.
Okay?
You
Fine.
shut up, you. Shut up, you stink.
Listen.
You know damn right.
You fucking
You bastard.
okay?